let's get situated here for a second. Hi. Yeah, we're doing this. I'm not really sure why we're doing this, but we're doing this. Here's why I'm here. Let's just get to that. My name is Joey. Hello. I don't really know where to start except to say that I was laid off about a month ago, and I am not a social media person. I've had a blog for years. I loved blogging. I was part of that whole like initial blogging wave, and it was so much fun. And then over the years, blogging just sort of fell away. I've always been writing, but it's just not the community that it used to be because everyone has moved on to like Instagram or TikTok or wherever, which is totally fine. That's expected. Things are meant to evolve. I didn't evolve with that whole trend because social media is just kind of not my thing. I'm not succinct, and you will probably learn that. I like to talk. I talk a lot. I feel like everything needs context and subcontext, and I do not do that well on social media. However, when I got laid off about a month ago, I did something that is very out of character for me, and I ran to social media because I am the breadwinner of our family. I am married with he's 18 months old now. My husband works in education, so my earning capacity has always just been higher, and we rely on my earning capacity. And so when I was laid off without severance, I panicked, as I should, because that's a really freaking scary place to be. And in just a desperate moment, I ran to social media. I had a book that I published back in 2014, but I never did anything with it because I was scared. Very scared. But it was there. It existed, and I was like, how do I figure this out? And so I went into Amazon. I made it as cheap as I humanly possibly could make it. I wanted to make it 99 cents. Amazon would not let me. So I made the book $2.99, put a TikTok out, and thought nobody would ever see it because I had one follower on that account when I published the video, and it was a good friend of mine. I had no audience. I had nothing, but I just put it out there in the hopes that maybe TikTok would do its thing and get us through a month. Because like I said, I didn't get any severance. And so we were one paycheck away from relying solely on my husband's income, which I'm so grateful for. Like, I'm so grateful that he has an income, and we do live a very modest life. We couldn't survive on my husband's salary alone. And I keep my son home full time at the blessing of my previous employer, and there were no daycares in the area that had an opening sooner than 4 months from now, and that was a daycare that was 45 minutes away from where I live. So when I tell you the panic was panicked, there was panic. I was envisioning like packing up our house, moving in with my mother, pieced together child. It just was a lot, right? So I ran to TikTok, and for 7 hours, that video sat at 0 views. And I was like, you know what, that's okay. That's okay. I did what I thought I could do. That was me taking charge of the moment. And I had started aggressively applying for jobs and working on my resume from like the moment I got off the phone with my boss. Well, then TikTok did its thing. And you all showed up in such an amazing way for us. And I do not have the proper words to thank you for swooping in, taking care of me and my family. So when I say that I am grateful, I wish I could physically just grab each one of you independently into a really, really tight hug, because I want you to feel from the inside of my heart into your own heart how much I appreciate you. I initially told my husband, like, while the influx of sales from the book has helped us out tremendously, I was like, this is not sustainable. Like, we cannot rely on this because these people are doing me a favor, doing us a favor. They are buying a book because they see a mom in trouble, and that's not going to carry this forward. Like, this is not, they didn't find out about this book, this awesome book, and like bought it because it sounded so intriguing to them. They bought it because they wanted to help out a family, which I tremendously appreciate. However, then you all started to read the book, and you started to report back in that you love the book and you couldn't put the book down, and that you have to have another book, and you think I should be a writer. And I want to do all of those things. I really want to do all of those things. And I have, thankfully, because of you guys, bought some time to try to make that happen. But let's be real for like a hot second. I am not good at many things. However, I am good at working hard. I am good at showing up for other people, and I am good at figuring things out, especially when all of those things are like pulled together into like a tight little unit. In my entire adult life, that's all I've been doing from day one, is working hard and figuring things out and showing up for other people. So like, what if we like do this together? Like, what if I work hard and show up and figure this out? Like, what if together we can make this a thing? Like, we could make it a thing where I write the books and I share with you guys, and then you see where this takes us? In every job I've ever had, my favorite part has always been like the people that I work with. I would show up even on the days that I didn't feel like it because I loved my people. I loved hanging out with my people. I loved showing up with my people. I loved figuring things out with my people. And this is lonely and isolating. And that's the part I think that scares me the most, is I know I can figure things out. I don't think I would be very happy figuring it out alone. And to have the motivation to continue to show up and do the thing, what if like you guys were my coworkers? What if together we did this? Like, what if we hung out and I just showed you the real of what's going on, and we chit chat, share the latest things that are happening, all the while working hard and figuring it out. Oh my gosh, that just scared me to death. Hey, Oaken, that's not your bear. Oh my gosh. My dog is chewing on my son's birthday bear, which has Olaf's voice in it. Hey, can I have that, please? Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Oaken. I realized this was a very long, rambly chat about really nothing in particular, except, hi, I'm Joey. I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's maybe figure this out together, shall we? So I've been like really into not wearing makeup right now, or at least like not a lot of makeup. That's mostly changed. You guys will learn more in my story as we go through. I started working from home in September of last year after working in an office for almost 3 years, like through the pandemic, everything. So I was really leaning into the whole like laid back, little did I know, laid back era of like my foundation, the It Cosmetics CC cream, which I've loved and loved and loved, but it's a little heavy for summertime right now, like as like an everyday kind of thing, but it does have 50 SPF in it, and I do miss that when I don't have makeup on. So we're gonna try this out. It's the Neutrogena Mineral UV Tint. So we're gonna see how that goes. Mostly I'm just interested in the SPF, but I wanted SPF that was like specifically for your face, because you guys know what I mean when I say that. Like sometimes SPF is a little bit not fun to wear. Oh, okay. Let's see. Well, I just shoved a finger right up my nose. That's not what you want. So it definitely has that like sunscreeny feel. Do you know what I mean? Like, what am I trying to say there? Like a heaviness, or like a, feels like a sticky or greasiness to it. Let's wash my hands real quickly. So my husband used to detail cars when we were in like late part of high school, college, early part of marriage, and like as a side thing that he did. And he could always tell if it was a woman's car. I mean, A, because it was usually the dirtiest, but also because there was foundation all over the steering wheel, because back then, which would have been like early 2000s, none of us used brushes or sponges. We all just used our hands, and then I guess we were gross and didn't wash our hands after, and steering wheels would be covered with foundation. I am not hating that. Okay. As long as it gives me some like SPF, I don't really care. We are gonna do a few swipes of mascara, and we're gonna call that job done, because, which I realized that looks a little excessive. Primer, nude tube of mascara for the upper lips, old tube, the upper lips, upper lashes, and then an old tube of mascara for the bottom lashes. I promise it's really not that complicated, but I apparently make it that complicated, which is kind of the story of my life, isn't it? I only recently started using eyelash primer at the recommendation of a friend, and for my teeny tiny little baby lashes, it's kind of a game changer, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of thought it would be like a very unnecessary step, and it is, like, don't get me wrong, like, we're all beautiful without makeup on. But who doesn't like a little bit of oomph to their lashes? I do. I like a little oomph. You can tell I've had too much coffee and not enough food because everything I'm doing, everything is shaking. Because I need sustenance. You cannot survive on coffee alone, though we were all very committed to trying to make that happen. I also probably have not had enough water after that workout. Do you see how my hand is shaking? That is insane. Obviously, it was a false alarm earlier when I thought my kid was waking up, because I've now had time to blow dry my hair and do a few swipes of mascara, which, hey, for a Saturday morning, I'll call that a win. I mean, honestly, let's count this whole thing as a win, because I managed to get my butt out of bed at like 5:15 this morning. I mainly only did that because I wanted time to myself before the day started. Especially with it being a day that my husband is out of town. He is usually pretty default parenty over the weekends, since I'm default parent during the week. And so I knew that in order to feel like I wasn't going to lose my mind, because it doesn't matter how good your kid is, it doesn't matter how much you prayed for your kid, it doesn't matter how grateful you are to be a parent, parenting is hard, and we all feel like we're gonna lose our minds sometimes. And especially after a whole week of being default parent, by the weekend, I need a little me time. And my husband's usually very good about, like, taking over the minute he walks in the door and whatever, which is great, and I appreciate that, and he's a fantastic hands-on dad. But he is a football coach, and the way it tends to go for a football coach is that their schedules are a little all over the place and super unconventional. And I will say that's one really enormous plus and benefit to the college that he currently works at, is that it does offer a little bit more balance to that crazy schedule than like any other school we've ever worked at. But this weekend, it's spring ball. My battery died. Anyway, let's move on with our day. It's a little while later now, and we're gonna go for a walk. We had a very low-key, very, very chill morning so far. As it should be, because it's Saturday, and this dude has had a really big week, and honestly, so have I. So I'm tired, he's tired. We have just sort of been chilling out. The weather was really bad yesterday, so we didn't get to spend any time outside. Well, not a lot of time outside anyway. So we're gonna go do that now. You see the baby in there? Do you see the baby in there? Let's do your shoes. Now sit down. Okay, good job. Good job. Put this foot in. Thank you. I have a Miss Rachel song stuck in my head. And it's kind of a weird, it's that Dada Finger song, which out of context is just very strange. Gosh darn it. I think I just put your shoes on the wrong feet. No, I didn't. They're so catchy. We love Miss Rachel in this house, by the way. Bye. Bye. Okay, he's ready to go. Bye. Bye. Yeah. Playing with the devil. Want some lunch? Alexa, play the Midnight's album by Taylor Swift on Spotify. Alright, Wade is down for his nap. And he was so ready. I'm ready for a nap, but I am gonna try to do a writing session. This is a manuscript that I started back in 2018. I wrote it mostly in 2018. I did a challenge where I wrote an entire novel in 30 days. And when I say an entire novel, I wrote 50,000 words, but it was not a complete novel. And then I shelved it because at that point it had already been almost 5 years since the book had been published, the first book had been published. I'm like, no one's gonna care about this anymore, so I shelved it. And then when everything happened and everyone started asking for a sequel, I was like, well, that's lucky because I have a sequel pretty well on its way to being a full book. So I've been kind of pulling it at its seams, seeing what needs to stay, what needs to go, what needs to be added to make it an interesting story. So I'm gonna work on that a little bit. I'm actually gonna do writing today though. And I would normally eat lunch right now. It's like 1 o'clock, but I don't know if I'm just too tired to be hungry or if I just would rather get my words done and then think about food. But either way, for right now, I'm gonna make like a caffeine booster drink. So these 4C energy things have caffeine in them, along with like, I think it's taurine. I'm saying that wrong. I'm sure I am. And then I mix it with the Propel berry. That's nothing special. It's just yummy and it has caffeine. And especially on a hot day, because it is currently 71 degrees outside. Let's just have a very ice cold drink. Okay, I fill it up like halfway with water. And then I add in my packets. This one is the energy one. This is the lime flavor, like a lemon lime flavor, which is fine on its own. And you don't have to mix the two together. I just like to. A few electrolytes never hurt anybody. The Propel, add it in. And then usually I just use the straw to stir it. Ice. And you might be thinking, Joey, why do you have an ice box when you have an ice machine on your refrigerator? That's a good question. And the answer is yes, I do have an ice machine on my refrigerator. But my refrigerator is a Samsung. And I feel like if you know, you know. And if you don't know, then just consider yourself lucky that your refrigerator isn't a Samsung. So my little Amazon icebox works just fine. Are we doing the rolled sleeves? Yes. Is it cute? No. Have we also in the past learned the lesson that if you don't roll your sleeves, you'll end up with an epic sunburn / tan line that you just can't ever get rid of? I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, but like from here down, tans. From here up, super not tan. But anyway, let's get some words down on a page. When I wrote yeah maybe, I honestly wrote yeah maybe in pages on my Mac. And I think I've said on TikTok before, like my Mac was 7 years old at the time and crashing all the time. You do not need fancy equipment. You do not need anything. Don't let anyone tell you that you need like the best of anything. Just use what you have when you have it and do what you want to do. I'm trying something different with this book and I'm using Scrivener, and I do like that I can keep all of my notes and stuff in one place, that I'm not like trying to dig around into different programs. But I would recommend Scrivener. I've used it so far. Now I have zero experience yet in the like exporting it into a book format. I did all of that before with like Pages and Word, and I will probably export this to Pages or Word for the editing process anyway. But for now, let's get some words on a page, shall we? It's lunchtime. I went as long as I could. I ate breakfast pretty late, but I need food. So I'm gonna make some chicken tacos. All right, so writing has gone pretty well. Basically what I'm working on is adding in, here's the thing. When I wrote the book, in 2018, I never wrote the ending because I wasn't really sure how I was gonna have it end. Well, now I know how I want it to end, but where I was struggling, and honestly for the last month has been struggling, is I couldn't figure out how to get from where it is currently to where I want it to go without better character development. And so I was really trying and struggling and failing to make that happen. And I'm not gonna lie, I went through a few moments of time where I'm like, well, people are asking for a sequel and that's just not gonna happen because I cannot pin this story down. And if you're a writer, then you know this. If you're not a writer, then I'm gonna tell you a little secret. Sometimes the art of writing is not writing at all. I was hyper focused on this issue for a while. Couldn't figure it out. The more I thought about it, the more I really couldn't get it under control. And finally, I decided to just go for a drive. And I had music on, just went for a drive, and it dawned on me that there's nothing wrong with the story. It just started in the wrong place. It just started in the wrong place. And so now all I have to do is start the book at a different point. That gives me the chance to add all of the character development that I need, which is really honestly the bulk and the interesting part of the story. I was starting it like in the middle of all of that, which is fun and exciting, but like to get to the middle of all of that, you need all of this other stuff. So that's what I'm working on right now. And I'm actually really freaking enjoying it. Like, you guys, oh, let's talk about this for a second. Hold on. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am never more alive than I am when I'm writing. Like, it's like there's a part of me that only gets to come out of its little cage while I'm actively writing. And in the last several years, I have not made writing a priority at all for a lot of reasons. And I've missed it so much. And I had convinced myself that I would be fine without it. And now that I'm back to doing it again, I don't know how I ever thought that I was gonna be fine without it, because it's like there's oxygen for the first time after drowning. It's been a hard few years. It's been a really hard few years. So again, just the fact that this is something you guys are asking me to do. Thank you. Like, I am forever indebted to all of you, and I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out with my weirdness. Appreciate it. Let's eat some tacos. Okay, that's not me crying at Love is Blind. Are you guys watching this season? I'm watching season 4 right now. And I have this thing, oh, I don't even know how to explain it. But like the thing that can warm my heart the most, like the one thing that can immediately make me cry or like immediately make me just fall in love with a character or fall in love with a person, is that act of showing just wholesome kindness and acceptance and love to somebody that doesn't feel like they deserve it. And to see them get to a place where they are authentic about that, and then to see the other people just love them. I love that kind of stuff. I left my lunch unattended for 2 seconds. You eating a taco? Hey, handsome. Yeah. It's so good. I'm glad. All right, we are gonna get ready to head over to my mom's part of town and maybe try to get into a playground because it's so friggin' nice outside. It's not that. I just accidentally changed a setting. So if it looks different, I'm sorry. I don't know what I changed and I don't know how to change it back. The kid is finally down. We went to my mom's house and then we went to the playground and to Target, and I am now doing something that I really like to do, but I feel like might be a little bit weird. I feel like it's not that weird. Maybe more people do this, but I really like the thin crust frozen pizzas from Aldi, but I dress them up. What I like to do is take, making a mess, hold on. I like to take a regular frozen pizza, sometimes just cheese, sometimes pepperoni. Tonight it's pepperoni. And my favorite pizza toppings are olives, black olives, and onions. So I just add those myself. So right now I'm just putting onions on my frozen pizza. I like a lot of onion. What's your favorite pizza topping? What do you normally put on a pizza? I'm so curious what other people do. Like, I know that there are some people that are just like full-on purists who give me a cheese pizza until I die. My mom's one of those. I used to be really picky. Like, in general, I used to be a very picky eater. And I would say as I've gotten older, I'm much more adventurous. Not that olives and onions is super adventurous. All right, olives. His fancy friend is going into the oven. All right, pal. See you on the flip side. We're gonna let this homie cook. I will tell you one little secret, not that you need to know how to cook frozen pizza, But if you want to take your frozen pizza to the next level, even the next level on top of dressing it up yourself, because you know we're fancy, the last minute that it's in the oven, make sure it's on the top rack, but the last minute that it's in the oven, put it on broil. Keep an eye on it because sometimes you need it for the full minute, sometimes you don't need it for the full minute, and it just comes out a little bit closer to like a delivery style pizza. I'll show you my pizza when it gets out. All right, we're broiling the pizza, which I don't think I need to do for too long because honestly, I kind of forgot it was in there and I didn't turn the timer on, and so God only knows how long it's actually been in there. I did, however, just discover the one thing no parent ever wants to discover. We were traveling on Easter Sunday. We were in the car all day, so I had a snack bag packed with all the things that we could possibly need to survive being in the car, literally all day. And in that snack bag was a milk sippy cup. And if you live in North Carolina, you know how blazing hot it's been for the last week. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wholly considered just throwing the whole sippy cup out. I'm actually really surprised that I didn't. I think it looks delicious. Also, curious, thin crust pizza, because I have very strong feelings about how a thin crust pizza should be cut. There is an actual right and wrong way. I will take that to my grave. I will die on that hill. It's really not that serious. But thin crust pizza, in my opinion, should always be cut into squares. You guys, this season is juicy. Wow. If you're watching this season, I'm not all the way through it yet, so no spoilers, but like, I have thoughts. I'm so curious to know your thoughts. I'm absolutely exhausted. It's 10:19. Just got out of the shower. I'm going to very quickly do the closing shift in the kitchen because I know my future self will appreciate waking up to a clean kitchen. So let's make this happen quick. Thank you guys so much for being here, for all of your support, for all of your encouragement. I do really appreciate the company. I know it's just a camera, but at least in my mind, I was hanging out and chilling with somebody. I think this is gonna be really good for my mental health. I think this is gonna be really good for my motivation to show up and do like I would do at a regular job. Because in my mind now, you guys are my friends, my coworkers, my hangout people. So again, the last 6 weeks have been some of the craziest, most exciting, happiest weeks of my life, and I owe it all to you guys for that. So thank you. Excited to see where all this takes us. Now let's get this kitchen clean so I can go to bed.